So for this template, it's very simple. We're just going to get 2 sheets of paper. We're going to cut it out. And glue this bottom part right where the dotted, I have the original one here, but I'm going to glue this part. You know, you can put Scotch tape or whichever way. If you're going to make a lot of them, I suggest you you make it in cardboard. And then we're just going to do this. And we are going to glue another sheet of paper here, like right around there too, like the same way. So you can have your full petal. You can fold the faux, but since it's kind of complicated when you're going to have it all done there, I suggest we just go like this. Here we go. And we are going to glue this one to this. So you can get folded in half. I mean, you really just have to do one, right? But the best is you're gonna fold it in half like that. Right where the line is. Right where the line was. And then we cut this other part off. And there you go. You got your full template. It's done. And we're also going to cut out these templates. Now, the good thing is that it's not like fabric. It doesn't have to be perfect because you've got the thermoforming gives it a little bit of form. So we're going to cut out all our templates. This is the central pistil. So here we are with all our templates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're ready to cut. So we're going to take our pieces out of the bag and we're going to open it up and we're going to follow the diagrams.
Okay guys, so we're going to take a small pause here because I have to remind y'all that you really do have to follow the exact diagram. If you don't follow it, there could be consequences of you not having enough foam for your whole flower. So you really want to get that on point, and here I'm going to leave the picture above so you can cut it out to that perfect line and everything matches up.
So here is the edge, complete, and we're going to place our template here. Let's see if I can move it farther away. Well, we're going to place our template here. And we are going to mark it. Probably, I'm going to mark it with the scissors. So you're just going to follow. You're going to mark it. I think how it says. And I think I probably went the other way. And we are going to make the same thing on this side. Make sure it's kind of clear. You're going to mark it here. So we're going to put it right there. And we're going to cut out all our pieces and we're going to move on to the green ones. So now we're going to work with our green foam. So we're going to get it out of the bag.
This is the other diagram for our leaves. Like I said, you really want to get it on point because if you don't, you might not have enough foam. So I really recommend you to just look at the diagram and make it exactly as it is on your foam.
And just the way it is done, we're going to place our templates and cut our 6 pistils are on this edge. I think it's like that. And we're going to cut all the parts we need on this edge. Okay? And we're going to cut through them. What I like to do is I am just going to calculate that I have enough space for the 3 of them. So right here is 1, 2, and 3. So basically around here. So I'm going to cut this, check this, make sure we have enough space. 1, 2, 3. So I am going to cut, make sure. I'm going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to cut 7 inches. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to cut 7. So this is for our pieces, and this piece left over, which is long, you're going to fold in 2, and this is where your leaves come out long ways. So they should be leaves that are 36 inches long. So what we're going to do is very simple. You just cut out. We're just going to cut the edges. So you've got 2 long leaves. Now on the tip, you're going to fold in half. And you're just going to do a simple cut to the peak. That's it. And then the bottom, kind of like the same, but you don't want to cut all the way to the peak. Leave a little square here. In case you put it right on the floor, you can wrap the pole around this. So I'm going to leave it right there. You see? I left the square. Now, if you do it all the way, it doesn't really matter. But you've got your complete leaf. So I'm going to do the same for the other one. And then we're just going to cut these and these as the image says. Now another way is to place your template like it is in the instructions, and we are just going to cut circles. The 4 circles, remember, 2 have a little hole in the center and the other 2 don't. So we're just going to cut this from the color of your tulip. And now we're going to move to the leaves. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to paint this. We're going to use 2 different colors. Darker yellow on the bottom. Just a little bit like that. And a lighter yellow on top. Looks almost the same. You can put a little bit of white. So we're going to fuminate it. You can use oil pastels. Right here in the center. You want to give it right here. So we're going to use this lighter yellow on the top. Just get a little bit of brightness. So here's your tulip. Very easy peasy. You can use oil pastels. You can use craft paint in Walmart. Any type. So right here, we are going to start. You can use a heat source. It can be like a grill, something like this, a pancake maker, your heat gun. And we're just going to start. We're going to turn this on, and we are going to start warming our petals. So we are going to thermoform our petals. So you can see here, we have this. We're going to fold it in half, and we're going to heat it. I'm going to show you 2 ways. Now, if you're going to paint it with craft paint, they should already be painted, but I want to show you another example of how we paint. You see how we make this bend? So this is warm, and it gets soft. You got to do that. So now that you have this like that, we're going to heat one side. If you use your heat gun, you can use your heat gun like that. I personally like my little grill, which is just easier. And you're going to heat it up and stretch it over your styrofoam ball, your bowling ball. And it starts to get a little curve. Do you see? And now we're gonna do the bottom part. You want it to be more curved because this is where it comes out. Right here. This is where the flower comes out. So right here, you want to stretch it, and you're going to do right here at this edge. We're going to warm it and stretch it with our hand, because you want to get the flower to stand up like this. Okay? So don't worry if your crease undoes. We're going to give it a little bit here. And now we're going to do the other side. I'm going to press it on my grill, or you can pass your heat gun. And we're going to stretch it over our bowling ball. And there you go. Now we're gonna touch these little bases. Let me see if I can pull it farther away. And I'm going to warm right here, and make sure these two parts are very much going up. Now, this part is going to get tricky. This part, we gotta have to close it like this, like a tulip does. So we're gonna get a little bit of heat, just a little bit, on the very edge. And we're going to fold it kind of like this. And you fold it kind of like this. You see? And now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. You want to close this one a little bit more. A little edge like that. Can you see? So you got your petal. Now here we want to do the little thing the same, where you want it to be, but this is when we install it. So we just got to make sure right here is very well stretched, and you get your form. So let's do the others. So now we've got our long piece. So what we're going to do, we're going to fold it in half, and we're going to heat it. Fold it right here. Fold it in half, and heat it. So step one is you heat it in half. And you have this little heated sheet. Okay? So now we're going to do heat it sideways. You can also use a smaller ball. So you see how it's sweet, right? Now the other side. Right here. Right here. Now another technique is with a smaller ball compared to this one. This would be another technique. And do the same thing. Make your middle. Now we're going to use this one. Use the ball. See how that works? So now we have all these pieces, and we're just going to do this one. And we just do that.
Once you thermoform all of these pieces, you'll see that it is much more easier to glue them shut.
So just to leave a review, we've got all our pieces cut. We have our package. We have these two that come in the package. We've got all these done. Our petals are assembled and our leaves. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start gluing pieces together, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go. Number 1, we're gonna glue these two together. To this one, double. We're gonna glue this piece together. We're gonna put it aside. We're gonna open our pack. And be careful not to cut. This is, so we're gonna open it up like that. Okay.
As you guys can see, we've been using hot glue and the Amazing Giant Flower Glue to glue everything down. So you at home can do the same. Just grab your hot glue gun, put some silicone in it, or get our Amazing Giant Flower Glue on the description down below. You really want to make sure it's glued down well so there's no flaps or no nothing going around.
And then you're going to grab one of these, and pass it through, and you're going to glue it. Okay?
I'm also going to use my Artisan. Hold on. You see? That's supposed to be good. So we're going to put it aside. And now, these, we're going to glue this little edge right here. I'm going to glue it like this.
For all the pistils, you really want to do the same thing, and for the long stem, you just make it round too and glue the sides. And like I said, after thermoforming, this part is really, really simple.
So now we're going to wire our petals. We're going to grab one of our wires and just leave maybe 1 inch from the end. And we're going to go through the line. They'll be very soft, so make sure you don't lose your bend, right? Now it's stronger. It's a strong petal. So now right here, we're going to make it a little bend. You got your tulip leaf. And we're going to do this with our 6 petals. Okay, so I'm going to put it to the side and we're going to continue. So remember, we're going to... So now we're going to do something similar to these. I'm going to stretch them a little bit. And this, we're going to grab our big wires and we're just going to grab your needle nose pliers and we're going to get that little thing off. This thing off. We don't need that. We don't need that. And we don't need this. We're going to leave this part out. We're going to There's always kind of this little plastic left over. So you can take that off. And there's 2 ways to go about it. You can put it right here. And you can see. You don't want to glue this last little part. You got to keep it out of the glue. And this you're going to not glue from here to here. So we're going to do this. Starting right here. You leave an inch. And this, you leave an inch of that because you want to put that into the bendable pipe. So you're going to do the same thing. Start gluing.
Leaves are just the same process as the petals. They are just a little bit longer, so it just takes a little more patience, and that's about it.
You're going to want to make it very, very creased here, because you don't want that falling like that. You're going to have to crease it very strongly here. And probably put a little dab of glue just so the crease holds perfectly. Right there. Just at the very end. There you go. You see here? Very, very good. That keeps it the form. And this is how it's going to go.
Now you just want to do that exact same process for the other one, making sure it's really, really strong and stable so the leaves don't flop around.
So we are in our painting booth and we have our petals all lined up on our painting table right here. So recommendation 1, always paint the side that is not to the front first, and then the side that is always seen on the second time. So I'm going to use 3 colors. Normally I would just do a lighter. They're just a little bit lighter one than the other. But this time I'm going to use marigold. So you're going to have your leaf, your petal, which is right here at the bottom part. I'm going to do that to all of them. Next color, I'm going to do a little bit here. It just gives it a little bit of tone. Sun yellow. So this is sun yellow. And this is the very light, very whitish. These we're gonna go, this is gonna be on the top edges.
If you're spray painting, we really recommend you to start on the back because you don't want the front getting dirty. So you want to get that part first and then you turn over and do the front.
So I don't know if you can see, it's whitish yellow. And once it dries, we do the same on the other side. This is going to go on the bottom, so we're going to put the marigold here.
You want to do the marigold all throughout the outsides.
Right there. That's right. So you see this was previously painted. I'm going to paint this over it, but you can also use it like that.
As you can see, we've just turned our petals around and done the exact same process on the front as we did on the back.
So you now have your finished petals. So now we have the same situation here with our leaves. We're going to put this side up. We're going to fix all our things, and we're going to use hunter green and key lime, or it could also be apple green. And we're just going to spray. Through the center, we're going to do the darker green. And then one. And then we're going to grab the lighter green on the edges.
Just look at how it's always the same thing. The darker color goes on the middle and the brighter colors and lighter go on the outside. Even if you did it with acrylic paint, it is the same process but with the spray paint. Now the exact same thing on the other side. Once you've painted with acrylic paint or with spray paint, the pistils can't be forgotten. So for these pistils, we decided to make them black, but you can really do yellow, orange, or any color you choose. And we also did this with just normal acrylic paint.
Now to get into a very exciting part of our project, we will first make sure, and this is very important, that you mark as good as possible 3 sides, as even as possible. So we're gonna put one right here and just glue the center part for the moment to make sure you don't have to move it, because it's got to be very, very equal. I'm gonna put it right in the center first. Make sure the wire is in that part, and we have it right there.
The wire that isn't visible, the wire on the back.
Now we're going to glue the third one, the second one, right here. And we're going to make sure, before you glue these other 2, make sure you have approximately the same space on the 3 sides. Can you see? So now we glue.
You want to make sure these petals are glued down very well because they are the base petals. So they need to be the strongest because they're the most important for your structure.
We're going to turn it around. And this is where we're going to give the form. Maybe you see it sideways. You're going to make sure you have it at the same height up here. You grab it on the same height, and we're going to stretch it a little bit. Make sure you get the little ball you're looking for. So once you have it, we're just going to stretch this wire here. We're going to stretch this wire here. And we're going to stretch this wire, both wires. And once we have that, we're going to glue the second one, the third one, the second row, per se. So make sure here on the second row, it is perfectly in the center, because you need to make sure that you're going to cover these other 2 right here, right? You need to cover that. So we're going to put glue here.
When you do this, you have to make sure it's very aligned because it's the second layer of your flower petals. So there really can't be any holes. Like you can see, we're trying to cover them with the second layer of petals.
I'm going to make a little pinch up here, grab a little needle here so they can be always at the same height and we won't have a mistake here. So I'm going to grab a needle and I'm just going to make sure I got them, the 3 of them, at the same height. So the 3 of them are right here. So this is the first layer, and this is the second layer, the one you want to close up here. And once you have this, you're going to glue just the bottom part. Remember, just enough, just this part. You're just going to glue up to here. You got to close it up a little bit more.
So as you can see, we're just stabilizing the petals even more, going one by one, sticking the bottom to each other so they're stronger and they don't flap around.
We've got our last piece until we organize all the different parts of the petals. So I'm going to glue this last little part here. So make sure it's covered, and then we glue. Okay guys, so here is where the job gets exciting. It's a complicated flower. It's got 6 petals and it's got to hold its place. It can't go sideways. So we got the little pin on the top. You've got to find a place to stand it up so you can see through the top. You know, when you're gluing, you're going to have to sometimes put in your hand through this to hold the petals. So we're gonna start doing, I'm gonna try to see how we can do it and show you doing it from the up, from not seeing it from the front. So we're gonna try, let me put it in. We need the flower to look like a real tulip.
Okay, so what she means to say is that every petal has to be coherent to the next one. Every seam has to be an exact separation from the other one, and the height all has to be the same so the flower isn't flopping around. If this is your first time making the amazing giant tulip, we always recommend you to use a hot glue gun. Why? Because whenever we stick the petals to each other, we always want to make sure they're aligned. And in case of any mistake made, you can always reheat the glue and shape it to the form you want it to be.
Yeah, other flowers are easier because this one is a very perfect flower. So right here, I'm going to start gluing, okay? I'm going to hold it like that. I want you to see. It's hard to do it when I'm not looking at it from the front. But I want you to see right here. So I'm going to glue this side in and make sure it's pointing sideways and it has a little round thing here. So here I go. We're gonna glue. And make sure. Now, if there is a little thing, you know, like, oh, it's crooked here, don't worry. You pass your heat gun slowly away from, you know, close to it, and you soften it up and you give it the form. So don't freak out. Don't you'll survive. As long as you don't tear it, so that's very important.
What we're doing for this whole process is just shaping and gluing. So because of the wire, the shape is very easy to mold, the shape of each petal. So with every petal, we just form and glue to make sure it is very sturdy and stable.
So we are going to do our pistils really fast. It's really easy. So you have your main pistil and you're just going to cut the excess wire it has. And this is going to glue it here.
Now here's a very important detail. If you feel your tulip tumbling or wobbling around, with our pistil, once it's completely made, we're going to stick the top 3 little things on top of the pistil with the petals of the flower. So with that, it will be a lot more stable. This is the inside of the flower. So the top 3 green things, we're going to stick them to some of the petals on the sides. So it's just a lot more sturdy and strong. But we're going to be very careful to just glue the tips because if not, we won't really be able to see the flower insides. Now we're just going to make our pistil. First gluing the top big thing on the long stem and gluing then the little small pistils on the sides. Here we measure out the true length of our pistil on the inside of the flower. If it's too long, we're going to cut a little bit. And if it's not, we're just going to leave it how we desire it to be. Now, as you can see, we're just gluing our small 6 pistils on the sides of the bottom of the large pistil, which ends out beautifully looking like this.
So now this is a cutie. This is the cutest little thing. Look at that. Look at that.
So now we're just going to go in and fix all the little mistakes so it's perfectly flat and there's no wobbling and more sturdiness involved. Now we bring back our yellow cutout that had no hole in it because that is what we're going to glue our pistils on, which will eventually be placed in the middle of the flower. When we glue this inside of the flower, you want to make sure that the 3 things are the 3 little things on the pistil are pointing the first 3 petals inside of the flower, because those are the ones you are going to glue each pistil to, the first layer of the 6 petals. So now we're just going to remove the pin we've had there this whole time, so we're able to put the pistil in.
And we're just going to go in there with this little thing. You see that plate? see that plate in there? Because this I have to do it on the floor, and I don't think I can get the camera. So you're gonna go and with this.
What we're really just making sure of is that the yellow base that is holding the pistil aligns perfectly with the plate that's in the middle of our flower.
And we are then going to just insert it over our pipe, and I will show you the video of just the drilling the pipe, putting the leaves, and it's going to be so gorgeous.